Since then I have expanded. It's gonna be fine. And it's not very thick, very squishy, very bouclé. I'm just so happy with my yarn choice. So I am knitting size 10. And if I have to shape another neckline at the same time as I shape shoulder slope with short rows, I'm gonna break something. Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to episode 57 of my knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 23rd of July 2025 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. It is the second time I am recording this episode. Because the first time around, the mic wasn't plugged properly into the camera, and the camera could have just picked up the sound with the camera mic, but it didn't. It decided to not pick up the sound at all. So I have to start over. And I'm not sure my voice is gonna make it through a second time recording this, because I usually don't talk don't speak a lot during a day. So 2.5 hours of straight talking, probably gonna be a bit much. It's already hurting a little bit, but I will do my best. But if my voice is a little bit all over the place, that's why. And if I am a little bit annoyed, that's why. Okay, today's program is it recording? Yes, it's recording. I have a ton of stuff to talk to you about. I couldn't just not film this podcast because there is too much going on. I have 2 pattern releases, not one, but 2. I have one finished object, which is also a pattern release, but it's not mine because it's a test knit. Whatever. I have 3 works in progress. 2 of them are new cast-ons, and 1 of them is a new design, and it's super exciting. And I have spinning. I would like to talk to you a little bit about spinning at the end, and I don't have any acquisitions, fortunately. So let's get started immediately with what I am wearing, which is also today's first release. I mean, today for you is Thursday the 24th, and the patterns are out just now. They just went out, I think. But for me, it's the day before, so I still have a lot of work in front of me before that happens, but I will try my best to finish in time. And it's not by filming the same episode twice that I'm gonna make that happen, but... Anyway, so this that you cannot really see because it's covered by my hair, this jacket and the mic, is the Olympic camisole. This is the bralette version. It's one super big pattern with a ton of options, so there is one pattern for the camisole version and the dress version. I'm gonna show pictures of all my samples while I talk. So camisole version and dress version. The basic camisole version has an A-line shaping because I wanted this design to be like flowy and airy and like very summery wardrobe staple kind of thing. It is designed to have a little bit of negative ease at the bust so that when you lean over you don't flash anyone, because that's the constant struggle of my life with this type of camisole, so this one shouldn't do that, but you should have negative ease. The pattern is size inclusive and graded to fit a ton of bust sizes. I don't remember the size range. There are 10 sizes and there are 2 different gauges. So there is the fingering weight version and the deco weight version, and there is detailed guidance in the pattern on how to do the math to select a different size if your gauge doesn't match one of the 2 given in the patterns. So basically it's a gaugeless pattern. You can do whatever you want with the gauge. And there are 2 views for the straps, so either the double crossing straps on the back with the flat edge on the back, or the single straps with the triangular cups on the back as well. This one, as you probably saw in the pictures, is the double crossing strap, so this is what it looks like from the front, and they crisscross in a very nice and neat way on the back. And they are all done in one go. So you start at one point, you work the 4 straps and the applied I-cord edges on all the sides, and then you join back where you started. It's super satisfying to do. But if you don't want to do that, you can also just knit the straps separately and just graft them on the back. It works as well. All of that is in the pattern, by the way. There is also, regarding the shaping, there are optional bust darts on the front. I don't have them because I don't need them, but you can add a wedge of fabric on the front if you have more breasts than I do. And there are also butt darts. Yes, I did call them that way in the pattern because I couldn't not. I could have called them bottom darts, but bust darts and butt darts was just so much funnier, so I did that. And they are tailored to your needs, so you measure yourself, you measure your fabric, you measure your gauge, and you determine how many rows you need to add to cover the extra length you need, either here on the front or here on the back, over your butt. And the dress has a waistband, a satin waistband. Is it a satin waistband? I don't know. But you can skip it if you want. Some testers did skip it and it looks gorgeous. Now I want another dress without the waistband. But quick tip, the waistband is actually here so that there is less weight on the straps because the straps are so small. If you have the whole dress hanging on the 2 little spaghetti straps or 4 little spaghetti straps, it's a bit much. So I put in the waistband so that all the weight on the top is resting on the waistband and not here. That's why, by the way. And there is also body shaping included. So as I said, the pattern comes with gentle A-line shaping for the flowy look. But you can do no shaping, you can adjust the shaping, you can do negative shaping, so decreases instead of increases, which is exactly what I did for this sample. I followed the same rates, but instead of doing increases, I did decreases for a fitted look, and I sized down. There are 5 different options for the bottom hem. There is just binding off, or binding off with an anti-roll technique. There is an I-cord bind off, there is a folded over hem, which is one I have here. It's very small, but it's very cute. There is a garter hem, there is a ruffle also. There is one tester who did the ruffle and it's so cute. And I think that's all for the options, which is a ton, yes. Which means the pattern is super long. It's long because there are a lot of options, but it's also long because I explain a ton of stuff on sizing, how to select a size, what to take into consideration, what to do if you don't hit the gauge, what to do with certain types of bodies, all of that. There is a lot of guidance for that, and during the instructions in themselves, there is a lot of tips and tricks and explaining what's happening and why, how things are done, why they are done this way, stuff like that. I just like people to know and understand what's happening and why. But it means that the pattern is super long. And lately I have been thinking about that for a while. I talked about it on Instagram already, so if you read that post, you can skip this part. I tend to prefer patterns that give less information than too much. I don't like when you're like thrown in the wild and designers just tell you, do this at the same time as this and just deal with it. I hate that. But when there is too much information, it gets difficult to find what's actually useful in the middle of all the tips and tricks that you don't really need. And that's kind of how my patterns feel, for me. And when I go back to work my own patterns, there is a moment of, ooh, where does it start? Where is the information I need? Yeah, anyway, I'm not a fan. So I've been thinking about it for a while, and I cannot really remove everything because I know there are a lot of people who need all of that information, and it's actually useful. It's not as if it was just a bonus that was just there to be pretty or whatever. It's actually useful. So I cannot just remove it. However, what I will try to do for this release is to have the normal version of the pattern with all the tips and tricks just as normal, and one version where I would remove everything that I don't need and everything that experienced knitters don't need. So it would be a lot shorter, include a lot less redundant information, and I think would be a lot easier to navigate if you're more experienced and more comfortable with your knitting. So I'll try to test this during this release. So you will have 4 files total, 1 file for DK weight, 1 file for fingering, and for each of those, 2 files, one for the normal pattern with everything included, and one for the light version with only like the crucial parts, like the actual written instructions and no tips and tricks, and here is how to modify, and here is how to do if your body is different, and all of that. And we'll see how it goes. So if you get the pattern, I would be very interested to know what you think about those, which one you use, and if you use the light version, if it feels too light or if it's actually a better experience. I'm curious. Yeah, that's for all the options for the pattern. You have probably seen all my samples up here. If you want more information on them, I put all the links to the Ravelry project pages in the description box. If you want to know what yarn I use, the gauge, all of that, everything will be there. And I will also probably have shown you some tester versions that are absolutely beautiful. Like every time I was getting a new picture, I just couldn't believe how awesome it looked. It's such a delight to see so many beautiful pieces knit thanks to my patterns. Yeah, so speaking about the testers, I didn't get all the sizes tested. Sizes 8 for the dress and 9 and 10 for both dress and camisole version haven't been tested. So if you would like to knit one of those sizes, please send me an email and I will send you the pattern for free so that you can test it out and give me a little bit of feedback, like, does the pattern actually work? Is there a mistake somewhere? And that's all. So yes, I released the pattern with all the sizes because some people don't care if it has been tested or not, and I just want everyone to have access to this design. So that's how I do things usually. The pattern is available on Ravelry and on Payhip. Again, links in the description. And you can get 15% off until the end of Sunday, the 27th, Central Europe time, with the code Happy Olympic. So I hope you will take advantage of it and get the pattern if you are interested. And that's all for it. I am overheating, and I knew it would happen because I was already overheating the first time around, so I'm just gonna take this off because I'm way too hot. And the sleeves are in this like shiny material that is like sticky when you start sweating in it, and I hate it. Anyway, my second pattern release for today is the Shine On You top, which is also a big pattern, not as big as the Olympic camisole / dress, but still a big pattern because there are also 2 gauges, fingering weight and DK weight. The difference is much smaller because it's cable and the fabric needs to be dense anyway. So it was difficult to have just as big as a difference as for the other one. But there is also a clear and step-by-step explanation on how to select a different size if your gauge doesn't match the gauge of the pattern. So it's also kind of a gaugeless pattern. There is also bust darts, optional bust darts. There are no butt darts because this is not a dress. But there is body shaping, so you can do either increases or decreases and increases or whatever you want to do. Everything is explained on how to calculate how much fabric you would want to remove or add depending on your measurements. And also, those are not options, but the whole body of the design has an all-over slip stitch and cable motif, which is super cute and very, like, it's super easy to do, and it's kind of addictive because you have the stripe effect where you just want to get to the next step, just want to finish this section and just go to the stockinette and just finish the next cable section. So yeah, it's very difficult to put it down. And the straps and the edges are made with double knitting, either just double knitting for the straps or applied double knitting for the edges. And they are all done in one go. So you start at one end, and then you do one strap, and then you do the whole applied edging, and then you do the other strap, and then you're done, which is very satisfying to do. And the bottom is a folded over hem. And I think that's it. It's also size inclusive. The sizing is a little bit different for this one because between each size there is 2 diamond motif difference, one on the front, one on the back, but the diamonds are bigger for the DK version. So the fingering weight version has 12 sizes because the difference between the sizes is a little bit smaller, and the DK weight version has 10 sizes because the diamonds are a little bit bigger. It's just how it is. And my own sample is knit in size 2, however, it's the old size 2 because I did modify the pattern since then because something wasn't working. Basically, if you see a picture from the front, my straps are very wide apart, which I didn't realize it was a problem because I don't wear a bra. But if you wear a bra, you would definitely have the straps that would be showing inside the straps of the top, which is a problem. So I regraded the whole thing so that it would actually cover the straps of people who need that. but my sample was already knit up. So now I'm like, do I cut off the top part, redo the top part, and then graft the new front thing to the existing body so that I have the correct garment? But also, now it's already out, and I don't need to take any more project pictures, so do I really care? And the problem is, yes, I care because I don't wear it, because I don't like the fit, because the straps are too wide and they fall off my shoulders, and this band on the front is so wide that whenever as soon as I lean forward a little bit and I have my arms that come like this a tiny bit, it like droops. It's just not pretty at all, and I just need this to be a little less wide, so I need to do this modification. But I don't think I can graft with this particular yarn, because what I use is, they are called vegan yarns. Basically, it's a type of sock yarn that is wool-free, hence vegan, because wool tends to be very itchy for me. There are very few wool blends that I can wear next to skin, and negative is even worse. But even if I could, wool is too hot for me in the summer, so I tried those vegan yarns, which are an excellent alternative because they are still elastic, because they have some elastane content in them, so you can have negative ease without having the wool, which is like, oh! And it's actually exactly what I have here. This is one of those vegan yarns, but held double, and you can see this is very elastic, and I've actually worn this guy for a climbing session, and during climbing session it's like hardcore movement, like I sweat a lot, I move around a lot, I jump around, yeah, and it was still fitting at the end of the session, so let me tell you, those yarns are super good for fit, and they are next to skin soft. This one is Universal Yarn Bamboo Pop Sock, held double at a very tight gauge, which is also why the fabric is so durable, I would say. But yeah, for the shine on you, I used a base called Pleiad Sock, but it's from a dyer that's from Switzerland and that doesn't have an online shop, so you cannot get this particular yarn. But I think she uses the same base as a website that's called Vegan Yarns. I think they are like in Canada, I think. And they have the same base, like same specifications, same name. It's called Pleiad Eco. And you can get everything you want from this website. So I recommend you try this base because it's really great for summer garments. But if you don't want to use one of those, I recommend using something that has wool content, preferably non-superwash or superwash, but with wool content. And I would suggest you avoid 100% plant-based yarn or silk yarns because those don't have memory. So when you work the swatch, when you work your garment, it's going to look fine. And when you pull on the fabric like this, it's going to look fine. It's going to look like it comes back to its shape. But when you wear it with the warmth of your body and the humidity of your sweat, it's going to stretch out. And then when you wash it, it won't necessarily go back to its original shape. And all of that will be for nothing. So I really recommend you avoid those types of blends. Unless you want something that ends up with positive ease at some point. But this design, no, not this one, but the shine on you top is really not good with positive ease, and the fit is weird. Like, as I mentioned, the straight edge on the front, as soon as it's a bit too big, it droops over, and it just doesn't look good, and same on the back, and the whole motif on the body just looks a bit weird if it's not tight on your body, so yeah, I really don't recommend this one with positive ease, or a yarn that's gonna stretch out with wear. Some sizes also haven't been tested, so it's sizes 7, 9, 10 and 11 for the fingering weight version and sizes 8 and 10 for the DK version. So again, if you would like to knit one of those sizes, shoot me an email and I will send you the pattern for free in exchange for a little bit of feedback. You can also get the pattern for 15% off until end of Sunday with the code HAPPYSHINE on Ravelry and on Payhip. And this pattern will also have a normal version with all the instructions and a light version with less like details and tips and tricks if you don't need all of those. Now, the first ever sample I did of this design was in beginning of 2023, so more than 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and it's way too small because I had only one skin, so I did it too small, and since then I have expanded, so it's like I can barely put it on and I cannot breathe when I put it on. And I've been thinking to unravel it for a while because I love the yarn, it's beautiful. But the yarn is also 100% wool blend, so it's way too hot. Even if it was at my size, it's too hot. Anyway, I would like to unravel it now that the pattern is out and I have the pictures, and I just don't need this garment anymore in my life. And I don't think I can give it to anyone unless it's to a kid, because it's like super small. But it's too warm anyway because of the yarn. I'm going to unravel it, but I don't like the color either. It's just not my color. So I don't know what I should do. I've been thinking maybe I could do like a beanie or something, because I have one skein of fingering sport weight yarn. Maybe I could do it for my photographer. You saw her beautiful pictures. Like, she definitely deserves some knits after taking so many pictures of my knits. And I did make her a top as payment for one of the photo shoots. She asked for a top, and she specifically went on my Instagram and she took a screenshot of this Shine On You top, and she said, I want a top in this color. And she wears it all the time. Like, every time I see her, she has it on. And I asked her, oh, you wear it often? And she's like, I haven't put it off in 2 weeks. And she's scared of washing it because it's a hand knit. So I told her you can machine wash it. I selected the yarn that would be okay for that. But yeah, she's just so cute, and she's just so knit worthy. So I was thinking maybe I could unravel this top, because I know she loved the color, and make her a beanie or something. I will have to see. And maybe I can even do like a beanie with the same diamond motif. I don't know. That could be cute. I will have to see. That's all for my pattern releases. Now we can talk about my finished object. Now, I did something special during the first time I filmed this video, but I cannot replicate it now. So I'm gonna have to b-roll myself here to show you what was happening in this first video. Basically, I finished my Gress Tee vest test knit for Rebecca Clow. Yeah, I struggled with the name because I've been saying tank up until now because I'm doing the sleeveless version, but apparently it's a vest. It's the vest version, not the tank version. So it's the Gress Vest, not tank. And I did size 2. And I blocked it a few days ago, and it was dry this morning, so where I filmed the first video, I wanted to show you how linen behaves when it's just fresh on the blocking mat. Not off the blocking mat yet, but linen when it just dried and haven't been worn and washed a lot of time, like fresh linen, is very stiff. When I lifted my my vest from the mat, it was like cardboard. It was super rigid and like not flowy at all, and it was just super stiff, and it's just so funny to me when it looks like that. And I just wanted to show you how just manipulating the fabric, and I think you can see I'm like shaking it a lot and rubbing it against itself so that the fabric softens, and immediately in just a few seconds of this kind of rough treatment you can already tell the difference, and suddenly the fabric is not stiff anymore at all. It's super drapey, it's super lovely and flowy, all of that. And it's just a matter of manipulating the fabric. And I just wanted to show this to you because it's an advice I give in my patterns, which is when you finish your swatch, you should manipulate it heavily. Like, you can really pull on it, you can wrinkle it, you can rub it like that, you can do whatever you want with it. The fabric is sturdy, unless you're working with like a single strand of Nutiden at a 12mm needle gauge. The fabric is sturdy, you can do a lot with it before it starts to actually wear out. And if you don't do this to your swatch, you're not going to get an accurate gauge, because when you wear your garment, you are going to wrinkle it and rub it and give it a rough treatment. So if you don't do that to your swatch, it's not going to tell you the same thing as the final piece. Yeah, a lot of testers for the Olympic patterns and Shine On You had issues with their swatch lying to them, and the gauge of the final garment being completely different from the swatch. You need to make a very, very big swatch, and you need to manipulate it heavily and block it exactly the same way as you will for the final piece. Very important. Like, don't skip that. It's not a drill. It's not a joke. Anyway, so this is the final result. As you can see, it's very drapey, very different from the thing I lifted from the blocking mats. And this is how it looks like. So I'm gonna put it on. I don't really know what's gonna happen with the mic. I will take it off. It's okay. So this is my Gress tank on. As you can see, no, it's not a tank, it's a vest. And it looks like a vest, and it fits like a vest. It's a vest. So I did some modifications. First, I didn't do the same ribbing on the edges because it's supposed to be 1x1 ribbing, and I did just I-cord. So I picked up the stitches and did an I-cord bind off for everything. Also on the bottom here. And I did it with 2 colors instead of 1. I changed the color when starting the first lace row and when doing the last lace row. If you have the pattern, you will know what I'm talking about. It did take a few trial and errors before I found the correct placement to switch the colors, because if you do something different than that, you're gonna have pearl bumps in the wrong color, or you're gonna have to modify some rows so that you don't have ugly color changes. So change when you do the first round of lace and when you do the last round of lace. The yarn I'm using is 302 by Isea. I should have started with that. And the colorways are granite for the blue purple and green tea for the green. And those are actually leftovers from another test knit I did, which I'm going to talk about after. And I just didn't know what to do with those leftovers, and I didn't really wanted to do just stripes, but then the test call went out for this, which is not just stripes, it's like texture lace garter, which would be perfect for stripes, so that was a good alternative for me. And I have this much yarn left, which I'm gonna need for the first test knit that I did. That's too short. So this is size 2, and it's fitting me correctly on the front. This is what it's supposed to look like, but it's too small on the back. Of course, I knew it was gonna happen, but for some reason I was like, it's gonna be fine, and it's not. So yeah, on the front you can see it goes to the very edge of the tip of my shoulders here, and on the back it doesn't. Like, the tip of my shoulder is here, and it only comes to down here. So I have all of this shoulder that is bare, and it's absolutely not the same look than on the front. If I wanted the same look on the front, it should look like this. That would match between front and back, but it's not how it looks. So I'm not a fan. But again, I knew it would happen. It's not the pattern, it's my body that's weird. My crossback is longer than my cross front, and I just thought it would be okay. I thought it would be thinner than that on the front. I thought it would be like this on the front, and if it's like this, and the back comes a little bit more inside, I don't mind. But if it's like completely to the edge, and the back is absolutely not completely to the edge, that's not okay. So for now, I don't really like how this looks, but I need to just wear it a little bit and get used to it, and maybe it's going to be fine. But yeah, for now, not a fan. I did do another modification, which is that I added one more pattern repeat on the back, because again, my back is bigger, so I just needed more fabric there. The result of this is that when I show you my profile, you can see that the bottom here is laying perfectly horizontal. I mean, I'm not really standing straight, but if I stand straight, this is perfectly horizontal. And if I didn't do this extra fabric on the back, it would be like this. Can you see that? My tops always do that if I don't add length on the back, because there is some bulk here and I need more length to cover that. And if I don't do this, I have like a tent shape and I hate it. So yes, I did this modification and it's fitting fine. At least I don't have the tent shape effect on the back. Yeah, and I also need to address the fact that this is see-through. I mentioned this already. I think I'm going to either knit a very small and thin band of stockinette using some leftover lace weight yarn I have, or I need to buy a little bit of like jersey fabric and sew it in, but I don't want to buy anything, so I don't know. I need to find a solution. But if I don't like this shape anyway, I don't know if it's worth putting the effort to make this not see-through anymore. I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I can find someone to donate this to, because I'm just not super happy. Anyway, again, it's completely on me. It's not the pattern's fault. The pattern is great. It was a little bit difficult to follow because this is a typical example of a pattern that doesn't hold your hand at all. It's like, do this and do this at the same time and deal with it. And with the lace, it was a little bit difficult, but it's okay. I managed, and It's a great garment. I just don't like the shape. But that's how it is. Anyway, I'm too hot, so I'm gonna take this off. Ah, the mic. I will try my best to find a little bit of time to take finished object pictures of this guy and put them up on Ravelry. I'm probably gonna take the pictures on my dress form and not on me because it looks bad on me. But on the dress form, it looks awesome because my dress form is straight side and she has the same crossback as cross front, so it looks good on her. Yes, I will do my best to do this before the pattern release, which is also today, I think. So I hope I have a little bit of time. All right, now let's talk about my works in progress. The first one. This is my Patagonia Peaks. It's a sweater design of mine, which is currently in testing, and this is my sample. So I'm just missing a sleeve. Everything else is finished, and I haven't worked a ton of it. I have to admit. First, the yarn I'm using before I forget. It's a Bubbly Boucle by Knit Picks, held double. It's a sport weight yarn, and I'm holding it double to achieve like an Aran weight gauge. So it's very thick, very squishy, very bouclé. And I just wanted to mention, I think there is currently a summer sale going on, and they are having a lot of sales lately. And I think it's because there is one of their warehouses who has an insect infestation. So if you order from them, it's not necessarily going to come from this particular warehouse, but please check. I think it's the one in Colorado. I don't know exactly which one. But whatever you do, if you get yarn from them, please quarantine your yarn in a freezer and or put it in the oven at over 50 or 60 degrees. I don't remember. Just look it up on Google, you will find the solution. But there is a risk of like moth, carpet beetle, and something else is in your yarn. So please be careful when you order from them. Even if there is this big sale going on, it's probably because they want to destock a lot of yarn that has been contaminated. So yes, be careful, please. And I have finished the bottom hem. The first time I did it, I did a folded over hem, but it was difficult to do. It was too bulky and it didn't look nice. So I frogged that and did an icor bind off, and it looks so much better. And I did add the elastic inside. So this is my end, but here is the elastic and the color matches. And I have this kind of cord stopper thing. I'm not absolutely sure how this is called, but it's a cord something. And here I have an actual cord stopper. And I have the knot that's tying my two elastic ends together that's inside the cord stopper. And it's hanging out here. I have a video tutorial in the pattern on how to do this. I couldn't find a video online. I searched for a while, but I couldn't find anything on how to connect two ends of a big elastic like that. So I invented something. I don't really know if it's a correct way to do that, but it works. And you only have a little knot here at the top, but the other knot is hidden inside. So I guess it's the best you can do. So yeah, just a neat trick. And I have also started the sleeve here. I literally just have a little tiny bit here. I just got it started so that when I want to pick it up, I don't have to mess around with like picking up stitches and setting up the color and stuff like that. I'm just ready to go. And I have inserted the pocket, the pocket lining. So if I open this up here, inside here, there is the pocket lining, and it's in fabric because I didn't want it to be too bulky. But if I show you the inside, it's here! Look at that. And I used leftover fabrics because, again, I don't want to buy stuff. I have enough stuff. So I used leftovers, but they were too thin, so I had to sew them together in the middle because I had only bands of fabric. But it's okay. I mean, you cannot see it from the outside, so I don't care. And now I have a very big and deep pocket here, and I can put my phone inside, and it's just great. I'm so happy. And that's all I did on this one. And I don't think I'm gonna touch it before a while because it's way too hot. Like, I don't want to have this thing laying on me in the heat of summer. I mean, right now it's kind of cold, but I don't need to finish it anytime soon because the pattern release is in October and the test call is finished and the test is underway. So I don't need to finish it before. I don't have any reason to work on it before release. Also because it's super hot anyway, so I'm not gonna wear it. So this is just going on timeout until cooler season comes back and until the pattern releases. All right, next. This is very interesting. This is my, this is completely tangled. This is my next work in progress, which is a new design of mine. I have already talked about it a little bit when I showed you the acquisitions last time, which are those yarns. And I told you I wanted to do a white cardigan that would be the big sister of the Nuit Blanche Tee. The Nuit Blanche Tee is a design of mine that's currently in testing, and it's a drop shoulder tee with a lot of thoughtful shaping to make it look like it's not shaped, but there is a lot of shaping happening. And it fits very, very well. Not only me, but it fits the testers very, very well as well. But the Nuit Blanche Tee already has 2 gauges. There is a fingering and a decay, and I didn't want to do just another gauge with the same construction for the big sister pattern because I wanted like a outer layer cardigan sweater type of thing, with this idea of the tuck stitch detail on the sleeves and the thoughtful shaping. But yeah, you know me, I couldn't just use the same construction and just grade it to another gauge because I would have just added a 3rd gauge to the pattern if I wanted to do that. So I changed the construction completely. And my idea at the start was to do a saddle shoulder. But let me explain. The last few designs I designed have kind of a similar construction. So everything I do is usually top-down, except the Patagonia Peaks, which is a bit of a weird mix between top-down and bottom-up, but whatever. And the construction I like to use is to cast on the whole stitches of the back, and then you do short rows to shape the shoulder slope here, and at the same time you do short rows to shape the back neck, so the curve on the back neck. For me, it's an easy process, it makes sense, and it looks very neat, it leaves clean edges, and you don't have any tight seams anywhere, and it's a very great way to design something. I have done a few patterns with this type of construction, and if I have to shape another neckline at the same time as I shape shoulder slope with short rows, I'm gonna break something. I'm just so over it. I love doing it. I love designing it. I think it fits so well, but I just want to change. I just want to do something different. It's like, I'm not the type of designer who's going to do the same construction over and over again just because it works. I just wanted something different, just because. So, as I said, I wanted to go with the saddle shoulder. However, when you do saddle shoulder, let me show you this. This, you recognize the colors. This is the first garment I knit using the yarn I use for the Gress Vest. As you can see, it's the same colors. This is definitely faded, which is a problem. Anyway, so this is the Lake Stripe tee by Ozetta that I test knit for her last year, I think. And it's a saddle shoulder construction. So you need 2 rectangles. I mean, if I show it like this, it's a rectangle. You cast on here, you knit straight, no shaping, nothing, just knit straight. And then you leave the stitches on hold, you knit the other saddle, leave the stitches on hold, and then on the back, you pick up stitches here, you cast on stitches here, you pick up stitches here, and then what do? Short row shaping to shape the slope of the shoulders. You can see here the stripe is straight, but the shoulder is sloped. So you do short rows here and here. Nope. I didn't want to do that. What I did different in this design, in this particular sample, is that the design has a straight edge here on the back, which is usually the case for a lot of designs because it's a pain to do the shaping here, but a straight edge doesn't fit, or doesn't fit as great as a curved edge. So I just do the extra effort to do the shaping here because it's necessary, at least I think. So I did short rows here, and then short rows here, and then short rows here, until I started doing the stripes here. I've been thinking, if I incorporate the shaping, this slope, into the saddle, instead of doing it on the body. And that way, if the saddles already have this, I mean, they are still gonna be like this on the top, but if they have a slope here, I can pick up straight and knit straight without doing short row shaping. But how do I do this slope? If I want this saddle shoulder to extend to here, the solution would be to extend this part here and do shaping with decreases or increases, and do the same on the other side. So I could cast on one side, knit the whole thing, do increases so that the fabric gets wider and wider, and same on the front here. So increases on both front and back so that I would get this shape, and then I bind off stitches here, do decreases, knit straight, do increases, cast on stitches, and do decreases this time. And that would give me exactly the correct shape. On top of that, that would allow me to have the back neck here be higher than the front neck, because the way this is designed and the way a lot of saddle shoulders are designed, for some unknown reason, like, you know, when you do a raglan sweater or a round yoke sweater, you do short rows to raise the back neck. But for some reason, in some constructions, they just disappear, and designers just completely forget that you're supposed to raise the back neck at all, which is the case in this design, because in the original pattern, you have the saddles and you fold the saddles exactly in the middle, so this line is the same on front and back. And then you just do a little bit of shaping here on the front, but the back is at the same level, and I'm like, why? So what I did in my sample is that I added one more stripe sequence repeat on the back so that the back would actually be longer than the front, and that way when I am wearing it, it fits like this. And that way I have an actual difference between front and back. What happens in the original pattern is that the front is low enough, but the back is super low and it doesn't look good, in my opinion. So anyway, to get back to what I was saying about the modification for the saddle shoulders, if I have this bend on the back, I can simply knit the front and back from this corner to the same height, and I'm gonna have this extra on the back because it's part of the saddles, and that's gonna raise the back neck as I want. Perfect. So let me show you my work in progress, which looks like this. If I can find the correct side. So this is what the back looks like. You have the saddles. Yes, I'm gonna do the same thing I did the first time around. Why didn't I think about it immediately? Better. So in this one, what I did, I cast on here in the middle. I worked straight, then I did increases, and then I cast on stitches for this part. And then you can see the shape of this little guy. I did decreases here and here to shape this slope. And I did the same on the other side, but mirrored. And then I have this perfectly straight edge here, and I could just pick up stitches and knit absolutely straight without having to do a single short row. Same on the front. But on the front I have to do increases here because this is a V-neck cardigan, by the way. And I have the two V-neck slopes like this, coming from a straight edge here, and you have no shaping at all once you are past the saddle shoulders. Oh. And I have joined in the round here at the underarm, and I'm just knitting straight right now. I'm so pleased with the way this looks. It works so well, and I mean, look at this, absolutely straight, but still a shoulder slope and a back neck shaping here. This is gonna fit so well. I'm super excited. It looks a bit wide for now, which is the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, but the double knit band is gonna be quite thick and it's gonna pull in the thing a little bit, so I think it should be fine, but yeah, it looks a little bit wide. So the name of the big sis of the Nuit Blanche tee is not the Nuit Blanche cardigan, but I called it the White Day. So Nuit Blanche means white night, which means sleepless night in French. This guy is white, and I just thought White Day was cute. Also because I think this one is gonna come out in November, which is usually when you get the first snows, kind of. It's like the cold season, and I just thought white day would be cute. Maybe I can take pictures of this one with snow. Who knows? That would be nice. But yeah, this is the white day cardigan. And I hope you like it. I am super happy about it and super excited. Regarding the yarn, this is... Why am I always talking about the yarn at the very end? This is Boucle Laine. No, it's Mondaré DK by Boucle Laine, which is a French brand. And I'm holding it with Halls Titicaca. This is lace weight, this is DK weight. And the gauge, if you followed the saga of last episode where I was struggling to hit big gauges with DK weight yarns, the gauge, 17.5 stitches. It's huge. With a DK weight yarn held with the lace weight, it's massive. And I'm super surprised. I'm using 4.5mm needles. And it's drapey, but when I'm knitting with it here, it's very dense. Like, it's actually hurting my thumbs. Also because I'm knitting flat. I don't really enjoy knitting flat. It hurts. But yeah, it's a lovely fabric. I'm not gonna go up a needle size for sure. But yeah, it's thick. And I'm not sure this is a DK weight, because if I knit it by itself, I'm not even sure I can hit 21 stitch gauge comfortably without having something super dense. I don't know, I haven't tried knitting it by itself, so I don't know what I'm talking about, but I feel like this is more like a heavy DK / worsted, even though the strand is not that thick. It's just that the yarn blooms so much. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. I'm just so happy with my yarn choice. I had this idea since I did the Nuit Blanche Tee, but I didn't know what yarn to use. And this is just so perfect. It's like gonna be a lightweight, fluffy, airy, super warm, but soft fabric. And it's gonna be so perfect for something like this. And the name White Day, it goes so well with a yarn like this. I mean, it just looks like a field of snow. I'm super happy. And for the tuck details on the sleeves here, I would like to use a black yarn. Black or very, very dark gray, but I don't want to use a dyed yarn. I would like to use something natural black, like where the ship is actually black, because I don't want to take the risk of having any color transfer bleeding. I don't want any bleeding to happen on my beautiful white fabric. And I have a few worsted weight / DK black yarns, natural black yarns in stash that are leftovers, so it's absolutely perfect. So I'm just gonna have to see when I get there. I am there. I did join the front and back together so I could start the sleeves, but I need to forage through my leftover bins, and I'm too busy with the test calls of last week and the pattern launch of this week and writing of the pattern. I just don't have the time. So I'm gonna think about this later. For now, I'm just endlessly knitting flat on the body without doing any kind of shaping, and it's exactly what I need. Something else I need is a portable project, because this is not portable at all. So I wanted to get on something that would be a little bit more easy to take around with me, which is exactly this. And this is a second sample of the design that I had the test call for last week, which is the muscle tank. I have already done the fingering weight version, and I wanted to do the DK weight version because, again, there are 2 gauges in the pattern. And this is where I'm at. I'm in the middle of a row, but I cannot really finish the row because I finished the skein. So this is how it looks like. I'm gonna show you the picture. A muscle tank, it's like the basic white t-shirts, but you remove the sleeves. So it has a smallish crew neck, close-fitting crew neck, and it's oversized, and the seams here are supposed to fit exactly at the tip of the shoulders. But it's made on purpose, and with my first sample, the back fits me the same way as the front because I knitted a bigger size on the back, and the fit is great. Unlike this one, because I didn't do this modification for this one, so the fit is not great, but it's on me. I shouldn't have done the test it. Anyway, the yarn I'm using is Ericanite Studio Linen, which is a beautifully drapey linen yarn. I can show you my swatches again. This one is on 4.5 millimeters. It's very drapey, it's very see-through. I'm not a fan of the fabric. I love the fabric, but not for this garment. This is on 4 millimeters, the gauge is a little bit tighter, and it's too tight for the pattern. But, again, the pattern also includes all the math and all the step-by-step guidance on how to select a different size if you are off gauge. So, working off gauge is part of the pattern. And during the last episode, my voice is about to give up. During the last episode, I couldn't decide if it was okay for me to knit a sample of my own design off gauge, because I was like, I should showcase what this actual gauge looks like, right? So I should knit my sample in gauge. But somebody pointed out that since the design also includes guidance on how to knit off gauge, I am technically not showing what the design can do. So I was like, okay, fine for me. So I just cast on with the smaller gauge. So the DK8 gauge, I think it's like 21 stitches, and I have 23, which means I had to size up so that I would get the correct measurements, because I have too many stitches per 10 centimeters. But I also wanted to show a different fit, because the garment is supposed to fit at the tip of the shoulders, but I also like the look of slightly oversized shoulders, like when they drop a tiny bit, not like a drop shoulder like this, but just a tiny bit. So I needed to size up also for that. So I am knitting size 10 for the back panel, instead of like, for my bust, I should knit size 2. But again, I'm off gauge and I wanted the oversized look. So I'm knitting size 10, which is good because I don't have testers for size 10. So at least I'm testing my own pattern like this. And this is the exact, perfect This is a perfect example of how I felt when I opened up my own pattern and started following the instructions, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And it's just the first impression. Then you just put yourself into it and you just start following, and then it's just very natural and you don't have to think about it anymore. But it's just at the beginning, it's like, where do I need to start? So yeah, I'm gonna see how the light version goes for the 2 days pattern releases, and see if I also do a lighter version for this one. I don't know yet what size I'm gonna do for the front. I will have to see how it falls exactly on the back, and then I will decide what I do. All I have to do if I have a smaller size on the front is I just pick up less stitches, and I do less increases on the front neck, and I cast on a little bit less stitches, and I even sneak 1 or 2 increases here on the shoulders before starting to knit straight, and then I have a smaller size on the front. Just that. So I don't need to decide just yet. But yes, I needed something quick, not quick, easy to transport and didn't take too much room, so this is perfect. Last thing I wanted to talk about is spinning. So let me grab my wheel, which is right here. Oh no, it's plugged. It is currently Tour de Fleece. Actually, Tour de Fleece is almost over. I am spinning to the best of my ability during Tour de Fleece. I have so little time right now. It's super frustrating. I love spinning so much. You have no idea. I love knitting. Knitting is my first love. I'm never gonna stop knitting. But this is something, guys. I really love it. But it's so frustrating because I don't have the time. This braid is something you cannot get because it was dyed for me by a lovely viewer of the channel, Nora. Thank you again, Nora. And it's like, spinning is already fun as it is, but spinning something like this, I cannot describe it. Just first seeing the colors change before my fingers like that, it's absolutely fascinating. I get completely transported into another world. But this was dyed especially for me, and it's just so special. And can you see? It was dyed to match the colors of the quilt on my couch, and it's just so perfect. Yeah, it's bringing me a lot of joy. It's really something I enjoy so much. And at the beginning, when I started spinning this, I was like, if I want to spin, I need to have 1 hour in front of me, because if I have to stop after 10 minutes, it's going to be frustrating. And I realized it's not the case, because even if I spin just for 5-10 minutes, it's already giving so much joy, and I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I just love it, okay? So this is what it's looking like. If I can show you. It's a 100% Rambouillet braid. This is my second spin ever, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job. It's not the most even. It's difficult to see actually, but it's not very even. But it doesn't look like it like this. And I'm spinning this very, very fine also. I wanted to do a 2-ply and have like a DK worsted weight. I don't think I'm gonna get a DK worsted weight with something this fine. Even if it's Rambouillet and it fluffs up a lot with blocking or washing, I'm not sure. I can try to do a plyback test. Oh no! There goes some fiber. Leave me alone. It's fluffy. Yeah. I guess I can, if I wash it, it's gonna be DK, I think. I don't really know. But also when I ply it, I'm gonna add more twist than that, so it's gonna be less fluffy. I don't know, whatever. But my plan originally was to ply one strand of this with one strand of something else that I'm gonna show as soon as I finish playing around with this. And the problem is that the other braid is not a yarn that's as beginner friendly as Rambouillet, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to spin this fine. And I'm not sure how I feel about having one ply that's significantly thicker than the other. So this is the other yarn. By the way, the first braid I divided in half, so this is 100 grams and I have the other 100 grams. It was a 200 gram braid. So I have the other half here. And this is what I wanted to ply it with. And this is Gotland and Swartpels. And Swartpels I think is bouncy and all of that, but Gotland is like a long wool and you shouldn't put too much twist into it. So I'm gonna have one ply that's gonna be thicker and have less twist. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I have been told you can do absolutely whatever you want with spinning as long as you're happy. But I think I'm gonna be happier if I have balanced yarn. So what I'm gonna do is finish spinning all the singles of the colorful one, because also this is easier because it's Rambouillet and that way I can just get used to it a little bit more. And then I'm gonna try to spin the singles of this, all of it, and then I'm gonna see how they compare, do a few tests, and see what I like or not. But I don't have a lot of spare time to spin, and it's super frustrating, and I just have so much these days. Like last week I had the double test call, and before a double test call I had to finalize 2 patterns at the same time, and so double tech edits at the same time, double writing up and grading patterns at the same time. It was a lot, and it was the Patagonia and the muscle tank. And the muscle tank wasn't too difficult, but the Patagonia, it was something. And then this week I have the double release. So double getting through all the testers version, double getting through all the feedback of all the testers, and double correcting all the patterns, double proofreading, double setting up the Ravelry pages, double everything. It's like already one pattern is difficult, but 2 at a time. I will try my best so that it never happens again because it's so hard. And in the middle of all of this, I'm trying to knit this sample, grade it, and invent a new construction out of nowhere. I mean, I don't think I invented that, but it's very unusual. Yeah, it's a lot. Hi, Editing Maya. Is it really a podcast episode if there is not an appearance of Editing Maya? I don't think so. I just wanted to tell you I haven't been very clear as to why I have so many self-imposed deadlines, like why do I do 2 test calls the same week and do I do 2 releases the same week? Well, it's because I'm trying to release 1 pattern a month, because when I don't, I can definitely tell a difference in the income of pattern sales, and it's problematic because, as you may know, I only have a very small part-time job, and I'm broke. I'm super broke, which is also why I try to not buy a lot of stuff, which is something I mentioned a few times already. So I'm trying to have 1 pattern a month, but I'm also trying to have long testing periods, which is difficult to manage. Like for a big sweater, I'm aiming for 12 to 14 weeks, and for a summer garments, t-shirt or tank top, I'm aiming for 10 weeks. And yeah, it's very challenging to to have a calendar that works with this type of constraints that I am again self-imposing, but it's also kind of necessary because, as I already explained, I'm trying to make this whole knitwear designing thing work as a main source of income, and it's a difficult job. It's just how it is. I'm not getting help by the algorithm and stuff like that, so I have to work hard to make it work. So basically the plan is to have the Nuit Blanche tee in August, the Muscle Tank in September, which is why I really had to do the test code last week if I wanted it to come out in September. I wanted to have the Patagonia Peaks in October, and same, if I wanted to have a long testing period of 12 weeks, I really had to do the test code last week. So Patagonia Peaks October, and the White Day in November. And if I want to have the White Day with a long testing period in November, I need to do the test call pretty soon. I think in 3 weeks it's gonna happen. And in December, I would like to not have anything because I know December is a busy month, and last year I had a pattern release in December and testers were struggling to meet up the deadline because they were busy. My tech editor was busy, and yeah, everyone was busy, and it was just difficult, and I didn't really enjoy my December to the fullest because I was too busy with all of that. So yeah, I'm just trying to chill out in December. Maybe I will put out a small accessory or something at the very beginning of the month, and then I would like to put out like a sweater or something in January, which means I just can't take a break if I want to have a long testing period to put out the pattern in January. So yeah, that's why I have so many tight deadlines that I'm trying to stick to, but it's okay. I know I sound like I'm complaining a lot, but it's all work I love to do. It's difficult, but I love doing this, and I'm super motivated and excited for everything that's coming. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm complaining a lot, but I also want to talk about the harder sides of the job, and it's not just all glitter and unicorns. There is a lot of work in the background, and I just want to be realistic about that, which is why I'm talking about all of this. The point is not to complain or for you to feel sorry about me. It's absolutely not that. Okay, I'll let you go back to present Maya. Right now I have 6 group chats on Instagram. 5 for mine and 1 for this one. And that's a lot of messages to go through every day. I think every morning it takes me like 1 to 2 hours to go through all the group chat messages, the comments, the questions on the pattern for the test knits, and that's a lot. And I have to do it again in the evening because I try to not answer too much during the day, to not be too sidetracked when I'm supposed to do something else. So that's a lot of time spent on my phone answering to people. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not complaining at all. The thing is, every single comment, every single message, every single anything is just so important to me, and it just warms my heart so much every time. First, it takes me a few seconds of, oh, this is so nice. And then it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes every time to find the best answer possible, because it's so important for me that anyone took a few minutes out of their day to tell me something, whatever it is, that I just want to give my everything to the answer, because it's just so important. It's so much for me. But now there are a lot, and it's getting kind of out of control because it just takes too much time to put so much effort into every single answer. Also because, big news, we reached 3,000 on Instagram, and this unbelievable 3,000. It's beyond me. And all those people are so nice, and I just love chatting with everybody. It takes a lot of time. Anyway, all of that to say, I don't have a lot of time to spin, and it's very frustrating. And I have to record my videos twice because I don't plug the mic properly. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all your comments, for your messages, for reaching out to tell me random things in your day. I enjoy this so much. But maybe in the future, if I just answer with like a heart, please know it's not that I don't care, it's that I really care. I care so much, but I need to care for me too. And do things in a little bit more sustainable way. I haven't been able to go climb in a week because I don't have the time. Anyway, thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget the coupon codes for the patterns. So happy Olympic, happy Shine for 50% off until Sunday. I hope you will enjoy the patterns. Again, tell me what you think about the normal version, light version thing. I hope the sound worked this time. I'm getting stressed out. I will leave you there. I hope to see you again next time. Oh, by the way, next time. No, wait, I wanted to tell. I didn't film last week. Did anyone notice that? I don't think so. Because every time someone that posts every week misses a week and comes back with like, I'm so sorry, I missed last week. And I'm like, I didn't notice. So I don't expect anyone to have noticed I wasn't there last week. But it's funny for me because I looked up and the last time I skipped a week, it was in March when I went on holiday. So that was a while ago. I have been very consistent lately. So coming back today to film, it felt a bit weird. I was like, how do I do this again? I completely forgot everything. Which is wild because last year and the year before, I was only filming every 2 to 3 weeks and it felt perfectly normal. Anyway, next week I'm gonna come back with, I hope to do the second video of the fixing my knits. Probably gonna be a series because people who watched the last video seem to really enjoy it. And yeah, I've been wanting to do the second one because I have all those chopped off knitwear that are in pieces that I haven't crafted back together yet, and I want to. So probably next week I'm gonna do the second episode of that. And yeah, I'm excited to see you there if you're interested. And if you're not, see you in 2 weeks in the next podcast. Or you can follow me on Instagram. There are already 3,000 people here, so I guess it's interesting. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next time. I love you. Happy knitting.